The G&G unit is for gold, singing, River and Bucky, underscore underscore. Music, that broke, underscore underscore, got rid of that, underscore underscore, it's singing. Yeah, we don't have music, no, underscore underscore, these underscore underscore. Ain't touching no figures, fig one boy cost money. So go figure what boy I did war with no killers, music. Killers this rap, shit's a joke, I got no filter, that underscore underscore, she a vibe. My broke hit her. Music, she box, but a box ain't no winner. No winner. Hit once and I'm done. I'm no kisser. We the biggest. It don't get no bigger. The G&G units from Go and Bucky. Your underscore underscore, music, that broke, underscore underscore, broke, underscore underscore, got rid of that, underscore underscore, got bro, music the unit. We don't feel no, singing, underscore, no, underscore underscore, it's the unit, underscore underscore, it's G-music unit. This unit, underscore and fun. You die trying to get rich. No, don't do it. You're not like me, my underscore underscore, you don't do underscore underscore. They said murder been silent. That's how we play. Every music move ain't loud. That's how the cheese play. Make a movie. There won't be no replay. We take turns on your underscore underscore. Music. We run relays. Cross that line, we're gonna slide right where he stay. And we spinning all night like a music DJ. We make hits consistently. No leeway. My Philly. Underscore underscore keep chops. We make music cheesesteaks. What's beef? The G&G unit is for gorilla. Music gorilla. Bucky. Underscore underscore. That broke. Underscore underscore. Broke. Underscore underscore. That underscore underscore. Got bro. Music. The unit. We don't know. Underscore no. Underscore underscore. It's the unit underscore underscore. Music G. You die trying to get rich. So don't music do it. You're not like me. My underscore underscore. You don't move underscore underscore the almighty. Screaming. They're not going to like you. I know. I'm music now. Music. Music. Tell the truth. They're trying to trick me positions. Music. Jumping up these scoops. Trying to trick me on my chicken. Underscore underscore. Gonna shoot. Trying to hit the opposition. I hit. Music the config. We ain't with no proposition. Underscore underscore. I'm a genius. But I D it down to keep guns. Music. By the penis when I run around. Underscore underscore. Don't respect the rain till it's coming down when they start to see the storm and hear that thunder. Sound is doing it's nothing but a 7 when I was young. I was doing quarter bricks. We was taking rich flicks on the head 3 and a quarter whip nasty duke. Had to be man. I had to underscore us. But going music to sweet out a major is my youngest son. We underscore us even nothing. Me and mine. Music till the end of time. It's a drama bun. I say it's music me and mine to the end of time. It's a trouble to be a bully. I can't tell them wolf tickets. You sing music damn sure ain't you dominate me. I can't see why you on music go for speaking on my mama. I tell CH ring the alarm. Music underscore underscore. Underscore underscore probably cross his leg and underscore underscore fold his arms. Every underscore underscore. That play, Maino just wilded out in that Vlad TV interview that's going viral, and now he's saying Gunnett was never really like that. He's claiming Jimmy Hinchman had them shook and that all music, that tough talk was more legend than truth. In Mayo's eyes, that image was all hype, all smoke, and not as real as people made it seem. So now the big question is this. Is Maino really trying to say Gunnett was never built like the streets believed? Is he taking it further and saying 50 Cent became this larger-than-life tough guy people created in their heads? We're about to get into all that. So hit the like button and smash that hype button because this gets deep fast. Maino has been making noise since he dropped the algorithm, a track aimed at people he's been clashing with online, including Music 50 Cent and academics, plus a few more names on his mind. He threw in some shots, some mentions, and a few nods, music too, and now the conversation is heating up even more. Then Vlad asked him directly about the 50 situation, music, and Maino basically said all that gangster talk around Gunnett and Fifth was straight folklore. According to him, it was a myth, not reality. He's basically saying it was all fiction, music that people bought into this image and ran with it, believing something that wasn't really there. Mayo is claiming he never saw anything truly gangster about Fifth music, even though Fifth helped him get a deal, and that's the only side he knows. Now, things are getting wild, so let's get into it, because this is heating up fast. Now, let's be real for a second. Maino did have some moments, no doubt. Tracks with Swizz beats, music, songs like High Hater, and a few others that had buzz when they dropped. Even Vlad pointed that out. But if we're being honest, those records didn't really last like that over time. They were hot in the moment, but the longevity just wasn't there. To me, being a lyricist, these days people have their own version of it, but to me it's someone that could say something that you go, oh wow, I wouldn't have thought to say that myself. Yeah, exactly. That's exceptional. Underscore always music, not gave me my credit. Underscore always underestimated me, and I've always been the underestimated one. Underscore never gave me my credit for being anything. Music, you understand? When it comes to dressing, when it comes to music, you music understand? You got underscore. They're actually really get on music internet and argue that I don't have no hits. You got, yeah. Like just you have hits. All the above. Come. But it don't even matter, right? We don't got to go into, but my point is, I've always felt like I was a slept-on artist. I always felt like I was a slept-on music artist with something to talk about. A lot of my story is real. What I was given, underscore, you comparing me to who? Don't compare me to nobody else. Compare me to me. And now a lot of people don't even recognize his music catalog like that. And here's the real talk. Maino's reputation didn't come from the music alone. It really came from that DVD era when stories were circulating about street moments, chain snatching, music, and confrontations that had people talking heavy. That's where his name really got stamped for a lot of people. So, when it comes to music, many don't even associate him with hits like that. And that's just the honest reality of how people see it. Yeah, that's just how Fifth moves. Real talk. A lot of people didn't even catch that detail, music, when I was reacting to the Max B and Fifth situation. I brought up how Maino got that scar from Rikers, and some of y'all missed it. That cut on his face didn't just happen for no reason. That came from a situation in the barbershop while he was locked up. Music, what people don't realize is this. Maino ended up getting cut while getting his hair done, and it was tied to earlier tension. So, it turned into a get-back moment. That situation followed him, and that's where that scar comes from. So when you see it, just know there's history behind it, and it's deeper than what people think at first glance. Well, not everyone remembers this, but 50 actually helped you out back in the day. Yeah, and I gave him his credit, and I clears throat. It's 30 interviews of me talking about that, including this one, right? So yeah, but you guys don't have like an inherent beef, a long-term beef, or whatever else. I always thought there was a mutual respect. Here, listen. This is why I'm so befuddled with the whole issue as it pertains to him. Because if you go back and look at any interview where his name came up, I always gave him his flowers. I always gave him his credit. Always gave him the grace and the respect because of what he'd done for me. MHM, I wasn't assigned to Atlantic anyway, but it was like taking long, and he made that call, and it got done. Right? Drink Champs. Even after the beef started, I went on Drink Champs and still said that. Right? So when music, now when he go do his little diss or whatever, and it says, oh, Bar ripped him. Oh, wait. What? Which slide you talking about? Yes. It's everybody didn't catch the line. So you see the shot where he says, at the barber shop. Yeah, that's where your face got cut. That's what he's trying to reference. Yeah, but he referenced that. But he also referenced the guy's name. Oh, that was his name? Yeah. Bar. Yeah. He referenced his name. So now I'm saying so now I'm thinking, okay, now this is personal now. Now you talking street. Underscore, and now you saying it. I don't know why underscore is saying it as if it was like in music a strike against my character, because it's not. We cut each other. Okay, you cut him first. He cut you. I cut him first. He cut me back. No, I cut many guys. Music, all right. It is what it is. How many guys you cut? Up a plethora. Okay, all right. And everybody knows this. But on the internet, they like to just focus on that because of this. No problem, right? So, and that's why none of this should even surprise Maino when it comes to 50 Cent. This is how FIF operates. He's known for being petty and strategic at the same time. So, when he reacts, it's usually for a reason. You can't act shocked like this came out of nowhere, because this is literally his style. Now, let's not act like this whole situation just popped up randomly. When Jimmy started speaking down on that Diddy documentary, Fifth Music took that personal. That tension was already building between them, and things were already going back and forth before it escalated further. Then being on that podcast and continuing the conversation added more pressure to the situation. So it's not like Fifth Music just wakes up and targets people for no reason. Something usually sparks at first. He reacts when he feels disrespected, and that's been his pattern for years. People keep acting confused, but it's really simple once you pay attention to how these situations start and build up. That's Southside in a nutshell right there. Straight, music, up, no filter. Now, let's break this down properly because there's layers to it. You said Jimmy and Fifth already had something going on, right? But here's the thing, Mayo. You don't really know the full magnitude of what was happening between them. You don't know how it really started or what went down behind the scenes. So, you stepping into that without the full picture is already risky. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You like the post involving Jimmy, right? That Mel murder post from Fifth's perspective. That's gonna look funny. If there's tension already, and he sees you showing any kind of support or alignment with someone he's not cool with, he's going to read that as you picking a side. That's just how it goes, whether you meant it like that or not. Now, when he does that, I'm saying, oh, you're gonna like street shit. And this is why now, I gave him his credit. Yeah, I can't give him to him no more. Well, from my point of view, seeing the way 50 operates, me and him have talked, but we don't have like a close relationship like I do with Yo, right? So, I'm not going to speak into his head. But from my point of view, this reminds me of when Ja Rule dropped the New York record, which was kind of his comeback record during that time, and Jadakiss and Fat Joe were on that record. Suddenly 50 is going to Jada and Fat Joe, not because he has beef with them, but because he's standing next to someone he has beef with. Okay, they're standing next to someone that he has beef with. So I feel like in this situation, this is where you landed. Who's don't have beef directly with Mayo, but since Mayo is with these dudes, who you got beef with? Jim Jones. Who? Oh, so I'm here to sort of... What do you mean? Music, hoodie to tattoo, but I'm saying this is how he operates. We've seen this before. So what? Music, okay. I'm not saying you should understand that. If __ gotta listen. If A __ got a problem, I don't know __ nothing as far as it comes to any level of loyalty, because as far as I knew that they little back and forth ain't nothing real. That was nothing, cuz I remember them cool, and they had a little workout, little banter, and music, that's all this started from like a post on in 2020. See, I remember them going back and forth on Instagram about working out, music, and then one day Capo put up a picture of Mel murder, and I liked it. I ain't read the caption. It was Mel Murray from Death Star. I liked it. He locked up. I liked it. I'm saluting. 50 takes the picture of the post. This is what I'm saying. He's so sensitive, right? You take a picture of that post of me liking it and says, music, yeah, I helped this guy before and I guess he forgot, music, you gotta watch people and all that. And I was like, and let's keep it real, this ain't even new behavior. I talked about this before. There was a situation where Mayo showed love to a Max B track with French Montana, even though he's supposed to be close with Jim Jones. And Mayo himself said it clearly. Whoever is Jim's enemy is my enemy. That's the code he claims to follow. So if that's the rule, you got to stand on it fully because the logic is simple. If your friend has an enemy, that person automatically becomes your problem, too. That's loyalty. That's how it's supposed to work in that circle. And guess what? 50 Cent moves the same way with that mindset. But here's the twist. It doesn't always look like Maino sticks to that code all the way through. And that's where people start raising eyebrows because the energy doesn't always match the words when situations get complicated. So explain this then. Why would you go and like a post about Max linking up with French Montana knowing Jim Jones has serious issues with Max? Especially after that track PY, where lines were crossed and things got personal. That situation was already sensitive. So, tapping that like button was always going to raise questions. And here's where it gets messy. Jim might not even be paying attention to every little move, but at the same time, he had an issue with Dave East just for showing up at Max B's event. So now people are looking like, wait, did anyone check Mayo for liking that Max and French situation? Because if Max is really considered an opponent, then why is that energy not consistent across the board? That's the part that's confusing everybody. If someone is music labeled as your friend's opponent, then showing any kind of support, even something small like a like, is going to music be noticed. So now, when Maino says he liked that post during a time when things were already tense with 50 Cent, it just adds more fuel to how Fifth music might have interpreted everything. And you got to understand, this is how FF Southside and that whole Queens mindset moves. They read into everything. A small action can turn into a big statement real fast. So from his perspective, that probably looked funny, even if that wasn't the intention. I'm just being real about music. In that environment, people move off loyalty and patterns. If I'm having issues with someone and I see you interacting with them in any way, I'm going to question it too. That's just how it goes. And that's why this whole situation escalated the way it did. So, what type of time are you really on right now? Because where I'm from, that kind of move gets called being mixy straight up. Like, are you trying to play both sides at the same time? You rocking with him and then turning around trying to rock over here too? Nah, that's not how that works in these music situations. Once people see that kind of behavior, they start looking at you different. They start questioning your loyalty and wondering what your real stance is. Now, music, listen, I'm not calling Mayo anything crazy. I never said that. But let's be honest, the move itself looks wild and raises eyebrows. Music, it just doesn't sit right when you break it down. Now, here's where things get even more confusing. You're saying you never believed in 50 Cent being like that. Never respected music, that side at all. Come on now. You've been around long enough to know the stories, music, just like everybody else has heard them. Acting like none of that ever meant anything just doesn't sound believable. But at the same time, you turn around and give that same respect to music Jim Jones. So now people are like, hold on, how does that add up? You don't believe one side, but you fully believe the other. That's where the confusion kicks in music. Heavy because the logic just isn't lining up the way it should. Real what? I was confused. I didn't understand. So, music, I went back and then I read the caption and I said, oh, underscore, going back and forth. So that I goes and puts up the post and say, yo, you overthinking, bro. Like I could never forget about what music, what you talking about. I could never forget about that. And I left it like that. And I don't think we ever really was the same. And this is a underscore that I felt like we had a decent music relationship, right? I respect him on his music impact in the game, him being an artist, that has impacted the game, even his business sense, music or whatever, right? And definitely respected what he done. But I never knew nothing music gangster about him. I didn't never have that respect for him. And I think that maybe because I was showing so much grace and giving him his flower for so long, I think that music that kind of got a devalued. Maybe thought that. Did you think that I had extra respect music on some gangster underscore because I never did. I never believed that. I had no reason to. We got to keep it consistent. Either music, you apply that same energy across the board, or people are going to start questioning everything you're saying. Right now, it just feels off, and that's why people are calling music it out and trying to make sense of it all. Nah, he's not being real here. I'm saying it straight up. This doesn't sound truthful at all. You acting like you don't know anything about that side. But come on now. You from the town, just like Jim, just like Fab, just like Dave East. You've been around it. You've seen it. So acting clueless right now just doesn't add up. And music, yeah, you had your own moments too. You handled situations while locked up at Rikers. And music, people know about that. That's part of your story, no doubt. But that still doesn't erase everything else that's been going on around you and the people you're speaking on. Now, let's keep it balanced and real for a second. 50 Cent and Gun It weren't perfect either. Music, they took losses too. Let's not act like everything was one-sided. Their music were situations tied to Jimmy Henchman where things escalated and moments happened that people still talk about. There were incidents involving Tony Yao, situations connected to family homes, and music retaliation that made things serious real fast. Well, meaning what exactly? Meaning that you don't think that he did gangster activities at various points throughout his life? No, I don't know. I have no way to believe. I have no way of knowing that, and I don't want to make this whole interview about him. But listen, let me say this. MHM, I think he capitalized on the moment. It benefited him. And what happened to him? I think two things that happened to him was probably the greatest things that ever happened. And one of those things was the fact that he got shot. Now, the fact that he got shot, well, they say it was 5 times really. He lied and not whatever, right? All right, that justified him wearing a vest, pictures with guns. It justified the imagery. It gave his storyline. Oh, all these old __ trying to kill me. Oh man, everybody trying to kill me. Is his music their sense of danger? And then him signing Eminem amplified that. So now, music, you got that storyline, then you got that machine that was the perfect ingredients, music for success. We saluted it. We loved it. There was Underdog that came up. We was all with it, right? Anything gangster, I don't know nothing about that. That era had a lot of back and forth, and nobody walked through it untouched. Music, so trying to paint it like one side was completely fake while ignoring everything that actually happened just doesn't tell the full music story. They ended up catching Lodi Mac, and that situation turned deadly. He's gone for real. No coming back from that. That's how serious things got back then. It wasn't just talk. It escalated all the way. Meanwhile, Jimmy ended up doing heavy time. And Fifth is still outside moving around. So when you look at it, both sides took hits in different ways. So yeah, music, there was definitely a loss in that whole situation. No denying that. I mean, he was also a great songwriter. That's the music was there. Music was there. Music was definitely there. We can't take nothing. Listen, I'm not taking nothing from no __ that deserved what he deserved. But I'm not going to give extra, right? Well, but here's the thing, right? And this is something that really can't be disputed. And I watched this from the outside looking in. Jeter had real serious street beef with a lot of very serious guys. Jimmy Henchman, they got spanked. __ are you crazy? They got spanked. What is wrong with you? What do you mean they got spanked? Yo, Vlad, please trust me when I'm telling you this. I don't really want to go into all this, but they got spanked. What is wrong with you? Jimmy had his way. People died. What are you talking about? Jimmy had his way. What are you talking about? I mean, but calling it like one side got completely run over doesn't really tell the full story. This went on for years, music back and forth, and it wasn't one-sided at all. That tension built up over time and turned into something way bigger than people expected. And let's not forget how all this really started getting deeper. Jimmy got involved with the game, and that's when things started shifting heavy. That connection played a role in games separating from Gunnet, and that whole fallout added even more fuel to the situation. Music, that move right there changed a lot of dynamics. At the end of the day, a lot of that situation traces back to decisions game made during that time. Linking up in that way created a messy chain reaction that led to serious consequences. It wasn't clean, it wasn't simple, and it definitely wasn't one side just dominating the other. So when someone says 1 minute that there was no clear winner, but then turns around and says one side got completely handled, it just doesn't match up. You can't have it both ways like that. The story has to stay consistent or people are going to call out fast. You just said Jimmy handled them, but now look at the reality. Jimmy is doing life right now, locked away for good. So if we're being technical, how is that a win? He's not out here living, not moving, not free. So how do you call that victory in any way? Now, don't get it twisted. Nobody is denying Jimmy's reputation in New York. He had a serious name, and people knew what time it was with him. His presence was felt, and his name carried weight for a long time. That part is real. No question about it. But here's the contradiction that's throwing people off. You're saying he ran over them, but at the same time saying there was no clear winner. That doesn't add up. Either one side dominated or it was a back-and-forth situation with losses on both sides. You can't push both narratives, music at once. And yes, Gunnet took losses too. Lodi Mac, rest in music peace. That situation was serious, but that's how those environments go. Nobody walks through untouched. Music, there's always consequences. Always something that hits both sides at some point. Yayo's house got shot up over that situation. I understand that. But ultimately, think about what you're saying and think about what happened. Meaning what? That Jimmy is doing double life. Listen, in that no situation, that situation, they wasn't a victim in that situation, brother. Music, right? Okay, so what? But I feel like these guys stood there. Now, here's the next part that raises eyebrows. You're saying you don't believe any of that extra gangster image around 50 Cent and the unit, right? So, by that same logic, are people supposed to question everything tied to you in your own circle, too? Because once you open that door, it applies everywhere. You can't dismiss one side completely and expect your side not to be questioned the same way. That's where things start getting shaky and people begin looking at everything differently. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Rod Diggs, who is he cool with? Uncle Murder. And who is Uncle Murder signed to? 50 Cent and Gun It. So what does that all connect? That's where things start looking real interesting, because let's not forget Rod Diggs had a serious reputation. People knew what time it was. With him, there were stories about tensions with Jim Jones, situations that almost went left, and moments that could have ended very differently. That history is out there, and people who know. And here's the wild part. There was never any real issue between Maino and Rod Diggs like that. No major problems, no real back and forth. That's what makes this whole situation even more confusing when you line everything up and look at who is connected to who. Rod Diggs ended up serving life and is locked up in a federal supermax facility out in Colorado. The ground. Who stood what ground? I think guns stood their ground. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. You. And it's easy to go for with the folklore. What else? Who else? World. Music. You don't even know World. World is my childhood friend. Listen, this is things he didn't have beef with the world. Listen, that wasn't the shooting that happened. Listen, this is one I don't even want to get into it. One incident happened, right? You think you really into it with somebody with one incident, Sug Knight. Yo, bro, this happening incident at the Vive Awards. Yo, listen. Look, all I'm saying is I don't have no reason to believe the extra gangster, __. You believe whatever you want to believe. I ain't. And his name still rings loud when people talk about that era. His influence even connects to other figures people know. So this whole web of relationships is deeper than it looks on the surface. So when you really break it all down, it's hard to sit here and act like Gun It was never on that type of timing. Even Ice-T once pointed out that Fifth stood out in a different way for a reason. That didn't come from nowhere. That came from how he moved and what he represented at that time. And that's why this whole debate is blowing up right now. People are split. Some are rocking with Maino's take. Others are saying, nah, that doesn't line up with what we've seen over the years. But we're talking about actual incidents. We saw the video at the Vive Awards, right? What happened to the Vive Awards? The guy that attacked them and him getting stabbed. Attacked who? Attacked Dr. Dre. What the yo? Bro, they were there with Dr. Dre. No, bro, leave me. You're assigned to Dr. Dre. Bro, listen to me. Music, I'm not going to debate you on another. Man, I'm speaking from my perspective, and Ann and I, and it is what it is. Like, I don't have no reason to believe nothing extra. Those incidents that you're talking about, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm people lost. Like, I look at it don't even matter to me, right? Look, like I said, you believe you unbelieving. I know truth. I music think it's all a character act. Whatever, man. It is what it is. If you and 50 got on the phone today, you think you could have a civilized, I don't see why not, civilized conversation. I don't listen, we, which is something I hope for, by the way. We don't even matter to me, though. But music, but the thing is this, though. I don't care to do it because I don't want to underscore music confuse anything, because you already said things that I feel like now I need to music stand on. Oh, you don't want to smoke. You want me cool. I don't want the __. Wait, who said that? This is what he said. He said, I want music to be cool. Yo, we. From the same age bracket, my __. I've been outside a long time. A very long time. So now it turns into a bigger question about who was really like that and who wasn't. But now I gotta throw it to y'all. How do you see it? Do you agree with Maino, or do you think he's reaching with this take? Who really had the stronger reputation? And whose story actually holds up when you look at everything? Make sure you tap in right now. Subscribe to Drip Music Z. Hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And share this video with somebody who needs to see this. And if you really rock with the content, hit that hype button and help us small creator grow.